Today we're talking about Tom Ford Oud Wood. I want to tell you a quick story, but if you're somebody who doesn't care about the story, just go to the timestamps. I do consider your time. I do value it. So if you want to go, okay, look, Hamza, I don't care about your life story, man. I just want to watch the fragrance review. You should just go to the timestamp, click that, and just skip ahead, okay? Now listen, when I was 16 years old, and I didn't really have enough money for me to have like cool clothing, for me to go out with friends or dates. I had to kind of like either save up money from doing errands, and I'm like, oh ma, like I'll do laundry, I'll do something. Can I get like $5 here, $5 here, $10 here? But it got to the point where it was like, it wasn't enough. At the same time, I felt really bad like taking money from my parents. So I remember telling my mom like, hey, do you know anybody who has a job? Because I'm 16. I don't know what to do. She was like, I'll call up one of your cousins. He has a warehouse and he sells clothing. He's doing really well. Maybe he'll hire you. I got the phone call from my cousin. He's like, hey, cousin, I hear you're ready for a job. I hear you want to work. Come work for me. I have a warehouse in Jersey. I'll have my other cousin drive you every weekend. You'll come work in the warehouse. You'll ship boxes. You'll tape up boxes. And then we have a store that we sell wholesale stuff in. If we don't need you in the warehouse, we'll just have you go there and you can just go sell some clothing. So I remember like really like meeting my cousin for the first time, and he just pulls up in this gorgeous SL65 Mercedes Benz. I'll put a picture of it right there. And it was one of those like coupe cars. It just looked like Batman. It looked like Bruce Wayne to me. And then it was like a summertime, and he like pulls up and he like lifts the hood of the car. I'm like, oh my God, who is this guy? I'm like, I have a family member like this. And he's like, come on, get in, let's go. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it, right? There was one moment that I remember being in a car, and he always had this fragrance on. And I'm like, what is this fragrance he's wearing? It smells so good. And I was shy. I didn't want to ask him like, hey cousin, like what fragrance are you wearing? We didn't really have that much of a relationship. He was like 16 years older than me or something. So it felt a little bit weird for me to ask him. But one time we were coming back into the city, and he gets a call from my other cousin, and he's like, hey man, listen, I hear you're going on vacation. I'm in Bloomingdale's. Do you want anything from there? And he goes, bro, right now, please get me the big bottle Tom Ford Oud Wood. I just ran out last week. I'm about to go on vacation soon. Tom Ford Oud Wood, 100 mil right now. Please, I will send you the money right away. And he's like, all right, no problem. And I was like, what is this Tom Ford Oud Wood fragrance that he's talking about, right? Like, I was like, man, I need to know. I go home, I Google it, I see the price point, I lose my mind. It was like 6 weeks worth of work for me. And I was like, oh man, like I can't afford this fragrance. So it was always in my mind. I'm like, man, if there's one fragrance that reminds me of status, if there's one fragrance that reminds me of power, if there's one fragrance that gives me the vibe of success, it's none other than Tom Ford Oud Wood. This is, oh my God, man. When I first got this, I was like, man, I finally have it. This is the fragrance growing up. Like, you know, some people say it's Creed Aventus. For me, it was this one. When I thought like of a millionaire, when I thought of a successful person, a status fragrance, Tom Ford Oud Wood. This is it. It smells like the interior of the SL65 Mercedes. And if I ever get enough money, I'm gonna buy that car as well. I might not drive it. I don't even think they're gonna have like gas cars for that long, the way the world is moving, but I just wanna have it in the garage and look at it. This fragrance right here is success for me. This fragrance right here is status for me. Let's get into this review. First thing you should know about Tom Ford Oud Wood. This is one of the greatest status, success, power fragrances of all time. Why am I even keeping it in the box? Oh my God, man, this is so exciting. Every time I smell this fragrance, I get the sense of confidence. I feel like I could conquer the world, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like I could go into any black tie event and I'm gonna be the guy. I'm gonna pull up, I am him. That's how I feel every time I wear this fragrance. When it comes to the versatility, if you could afford Tom Ford Oud Wood on a daily basis, this would be a great signature scent. But I also believe that this could be your status fragrance. Now with the status fragrance, you don't need to have a large bottle like this one. There's even a bigger size, but you don't need to have a 50 mil or 100 mil. You could get one of these Tom Ford 10 mil bottles that still have like this luxury vibe. By the way, this is Tobacco Vanille. I have a story for this one for another day, but You could get something like this one right here for like 70 bucks, and you could just spray it on those like special occasions. I got a buddy of mine named Bruno. He got married in Greece about a few months ago, and I wanted to give him something to like remember, and I gave him Tom Ford Oud Wood, same size, 10 mil, sent it to him, and he's like, bro, when I went on my wedding, I sprayed it on. I love that fragrance, man. It's synonymous for me for my wedding. When I want to remember what my wedding smells like, I just go smell it real quick. Brings back nostalgic memories for me of a good time. So definitely could be your status fragrance or your signature scent. Second thing you should know about Tom Ford Oud Wood, the performance on this one is not the greatest. It really isn't. I probably will get a solid 5-6 hours of performance. After that, it becomes a skin scent. You will smell it, but it just does not project as loud as it used to. So performance on this one is not the greatest. Solid in my opinion, but I do believe for this price point right here, there's better fragrances that perform much longer. So when it comes to the price value proposition, it's not the greatest in my opinion for somebody who's looking for their first fragrance or looking for a daily driver, especially if you're not really into fragrances like that. But if you're like rich and loaded, you're like, man, I don't care, I'll swipe the card and just get it. This one right here will be fantastic for you. But if I'm looking at the regular average consumer, for the price point that you're paying for this one right here, I believe you're able to build an entire collection. And I believe there's other fragrances in the niche world that perform much better. Some brands include like Parfums de Marly or like Initio Oud for Greatness. I think they do much better than this one when it comes to this category. So price value proposition, to be honest with you, is not the greatest, and I have to be honest with this one. Fourth thing you should know about this fragrance right here is, in my opinion, this is the best starter Tom Ford. I believe there's other great Tom Ford fragrances like Tobacco Vanille. I also have Noir Extreme over there. The other ones are a bit more polarizing. They're a bit more complex, that for the average wearer, there might be a little bit offsetting, especially if you're used to like just a Bleu de Chanel, a Dior Sauvage, or like an Acqua di Gio. If you're used to those like fresh aquatic scents, this one right here might throw you off a bit, but I also believe this is probably the best starter Tom Ford compared to everything else in the line. So if I'm looking to get one Tom Ford, my only Tom Ford, my beginner Tom Ford, this one right here will be the best place to start. Fifth thing you should know about this fragrance right here is it does garner compliments. Ladies love this one. I'm telling you right now, when I wear it, girls just get like a different impression of you, especially when they smell it. You tell them Tom Ford Oud Wood, because they know about this one. They know. Girls wear Tom Ford. It's a unisex brand. So they know when you wear Tom Ford Oud Wood, they know, oh man, who is this guy? Like, I want to get to know him a little bit. And you smell very like confident when you wear it. Like, I can't explain it, but I've gotten some really incredible compliments on this one right here. So it does garner compliments. The question remains, should you buy Tom Ford Oud Wood? Come on, focus. There you go. I'm a little bit biased because of the nostalgic memories that I have with this one. But if I have to look at it from an objective standpoint, if you're able to afford this fragrance and it doesn't bother you, and you're like, man, I'll spend $400, $500 on a bottle, no problem. This right here could be a great signature scent. It's different. It's more unique than the other signature scents that I see on the market, like a Dior Sauvage, a Bleu de Chanel, like an Armani fragrance. This one right here is sure to stand out, and I believe it has more status than the other brands because of the price point. When you say it's Tom Ford, it has like a different feeling because like people know that these fragrances are like $400 a bottle. So if you're able to get it and you could afford it comfortably, this right here is definitely a solid fragrance to have. Now, if you're somebody who's like, man, I like the status side of it, I can't afford it, then maybe you could get like a $70 for like one of these 10 mLs and maybe use it on special occasions, kind of like how I gave it to my friend to use for his wedding, and maybe he'll spray it for another special occasion, maybe like his honeymoon or something like that. So you could do that as well. But again, if you're somebody who's really worried about price point, then you don't have to get this one. You could build an entire fragrance collection that's gonna give you the same amount of joy as this one right here. But again, for me, this is a special fragrance due to the memories that I have with it, and it'll forever be in my collection. It just makes me feel rich every time. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Tom Ford Oud Wood. I hope you guys enjoyed the story as well. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a like, leave a comment below, and make sure to subscribe. Have a good day, guys.